inside of the ErahWah to date. Ready? Ta-da! There's no components in there yet. It's the thing. The thing is getting this. I got strip board. Okay, the circuit that I have designed is would not be feasible point to point in here. It'd be just too much. I did figure out a way to do this pyrite because I took it up on the belt sander, and if you do this, you know, if you need it to be flat and you have not the belt sander, disc sander. The disc sander is nice and flat. It gives me a nice flat thing, but it's sandable. You see, I like this node here. I sanded that point down, but it's sandable, so I can get this nice flat surface. And then I got this cleared out. And then what I'll do is I'll take that electrically conductive adhesive and plaster it on in here and stick this in here and basically glue it down with electrically conductive adhesive, and I'll come off of here with my resistor that I'm using to make sure that this resistance doesn't get too low, and that'll get glued onto the pyrite here because you can't solder the pyrite. Okay, so it'll be just like a resistor coming out, and that'll get glued on with that electrically conductive tape. And then the back side of this, the bottom here, I got that cleared out, and that actually does touch off on that, so that'll hold it down. And then you know how to drill through this stuff. I don't know, there's probably some drills that you can drill through fiberglass proto boards, but I had some rescue bits that I used for mechanic work, and I drilled those out and got the bolts in. This, I got to get some washers. I got to pull this screw. I got red Loctite on it, but I got to pull the screw under here out and put a bunch of washers in there to get this at the right level, and I got to drill a hole there to get that third screw in there, and then that'll be anchored pretty good, and then I can pull it out and work on it. But I had to taper this board. I had to take that out of the belt sander, or the disc sander, sorry, disc sander. Disc sander, Harbor Freight disc sanders are great. Like the stock width is point to point it's actually fit in there in this location, but it tapers like this, so I had to sand this side down, I had to sand this side down, I had to grind all this out to clear this and make the spot for the pyrite and clear these things on in here. But I still have to take off a little bit more and make sure that none of this grounds on the chassis on the side. I got to have, and I got to clear out under these holes. I got to make sure that none of the strips ground out on that bossing that the screws are going into on either of those. But strip board's kind of nice because you can take an X-Acto knife and you can sever, you know, a strip and, you know, make a little narrow double cut, you know, almost under a microscope. You can make a little channel so that you have a second node, because each strip in this direction is a node stock, you know. But if you can cut it and make 3 or 4 nodes per strip if you wanted to, you know. So I'm positioning all my parts and on the computer. I have a drawing of the strip board, and I'm just taking drawings of all the little parts and arranging them and figuring out how I'm going to do this. And this is a heck of a project. It really is. But if it works out and there's people like it, I'll probably sit down and dip trace and draw up a circuit board that you can put the parts into, which would, you know, with the holes, and it'll have the holes, and it'll just bolt right into one of these small bear electronics wah cases and stuff, you know. But I don't know, that's down the road, and that's if I get enough interest in it. Anyways, I just got to get all the parts, and I'm going with metal cans and metal film resistors and polypropylene caps and tantalum caps. There won't be any electrolytic capacitors in this whole thing. It's just all discrete, you know, but it'll be you know, quality components, you know, fairly decent. You know, I mean, I'll probably have 250 bucks into this thing by the time I'm done, but it's gonna be nice.